figure out, are you putting that same amount of passion into your family? So if you're balancing your Monday through Friday with putting your passion into your work, go extra hard on the weekend with your family to make sure and balance that. Because I do believe that that reflection is always going to help each other. Your passion for your family will help your work and vice versa. So I try to remember that, don't always, but certainly try to make it the mantra I follow. I would say one of the most challenging times I've ever had as a leader was when I took my own health and mindset out of the picture and tried to lead with compliance to the organization's desires. Back in 2020, I had an incident with extreme stress that caused my heart to go into, I don't want to call it a failure, but it caused it to go into, it's called SVT, supraventricular tachycardia. Basically, my heart was going unregulated too fast. I had to go to the hospital. And at the end of the day, the doctor said, it's stress. It's all it is. It was only stress that caused this. And I had to stop and reflect how I'm absorbing that stress. But then how in turn was I putting that stress on others to get work done? And at the end of the day, I said, it's because I'm asking for too much and they're asking for too much of me. So what I did to challenge myself was stop and say, is everything we're doing worth it? And at the end of the day, we all agreed we're going to minimize our workflow. We're going to find efficiencies. We're going to spend time with each other that isn't actually working on the thing that needs to get done so we can get to know each other better, so we don't stress each other out, so we can follow our hearts and our minds and not what's on the page of the deliverables that the organization you're leading within or trying to deliver for is asking for. Because at the end of the day, businesses are run by people. Without the people, you got no business. So if we don't take care of the mind and health of our people, we're not taking care of our own. So that for me was a transformational. I said I'm not working for a company or leading a company ever again that puts that stress on me, because I can't be a leader in that space. So since then, I've been way better.
I can relate to that. I think we all can, right? And it's a nonstop thing, and something that you have to remember. And if you're not a business owner, or even if you're a role player, whatever it is, every business is built with the plan to exit. Right? Like there is never an end goal with any organization other than that. Either you exit when you're alive or after. So it's going to happen though. But that's what you have to think about it. So as a leader, this isn't the end. So if this is all said and done and the smoke is gone, you walk off in the sunset and there's nobody there, I mean, it's not really worth it, I don't think, is it? So you have to think about that. And in order to be able to make it to that end point, you have to build resilience. So Mark, I'll let you keep the mic. Go ahead, Sean. Let's start with, how do you build resilience, not only in yourself, but in your team? Because now, as leaders, we can probably have a lot more control over our dynamic because we're the leaders. But that doesn't mean that they do. So how do you and your team build resilience while also maintaining greatness?
I think that resilience is ultimately the collective agreement of the people involved. I think everybody looks at leaders to be the visionaries, and while certainly great leaders are visionaries, visionaries don't understand the minutia of the vision. They understand the end goal in a really clear way. And I think it's important that a leader allows their visions to be adapted, be agile, and actually shape in different ways over time. So if my vision is to execute X, Y, and Z, but my team believes strongly that that is not the right solution, we'll adapt that vision. So I don't ever expect that what I say is going to be the result or the success metric, that is true 100%. So the resilience for me comes from the buy-in of the team, from the adaptability of your vision, and making sure that if everybody's bought into it because they participated in framing that vision into a way that actually makes logical sense, then resiliency is inherent of the team and not just the leader.
Yeah, and a pragmatic way to approach that, and I like to always reference points because you'll find out later I work with a lot of schools, even though I was a dropout. You have to think of it as a way of approaching it. Fall in love with the problem, not the solution. That's how you create iterative design. That's how you create iterative processes. So because if I'm so in love with my solution, I may not realize and fully understand the problem because I'm so self-infatuated. So you build resilience by not degrading others, by having a better way, maybe a better solution to solving the problem that you're passionate about. So you build them up instead of tearing them down. So Diana, talk about how you build resilience in your environment and with the people you work with.
Sure. Well, first I will say that I love the field of organizational behavior, and there's always so much more to learn, and there's so much out there that is already well established. And one, I think, key point is that leadership is separate from management. Management is about the planning aspect, the measurement, and the how. But leadership is about emotion, and it's about communication, and it's about guiding people through change and getting to a good outcome. And I like this quote from Maya Angelou. She said, "People might forget what you said, they might even forget what you did, but they will never forget how you made them feel." And it always strikes me when I encounter horrific leaders and how bad they are at it. And I think a lot about that.
You
So-